should she confess to a guy now that she's rebranded and be like, yo, I used to be in the streets, bro. It's flames. If you see random guys smiling and greeting, just know that might be my history. Or should people keep that stuff to themselves?
I think that either way it's going to come out. Because I don't have to come to you and be like, Penwell, this is my past before you accept me. This is what I've been doing. Take it or leave it. But in the relationship, you can see, hey, this girl, she's always texting other guys. That's showing you that I've never been used to committing to one person. You know, those things come out in small ways. Maybe you've got traumas. Now you've got trust issues. You can't trust. That shows that, oh, okay, there's a past that you come from. So I feel like we don't even necessarily have to announce it, but it's always going to come out. And that's why I believe that prevention is better than cure. That's why I'm trying to say, don't even start, young girls. Don't even get into that life. Don't see influencers and think, oh, this is the life that I need to, because it's going to end up here. And once it's here, it's going to be very hard to go back. It's going to be very hard to erase, you see, that past and how it has affected you as a person moving forward. So, to answer your question, the past does matter. It doesn't need to, but it's always going to affect you one way or the other. Because even me, for the small things that I went into, I'm still trying to deal with them even today. Like, oh, damn, that was one time, but I'm still, there's still that trauma. There's still that...
Trauma, guilt.
More like trauma, like it was an unnecessary experience. Like I didn't need to experience that type of thing.
But you don't blame other people. You blame yourself.
I always take accountability. Yeah. Some of the things, they're not my fault, but I'm always like, okay, but how did I even allow it to get there in the first place? Yeah. Because for some people, things didn't necessarily happen to you. You didn't ask for it, but it happened to you. But I'm always like, okay, there's nothing I can do. I can't chase Penwell and say, oh, Penwell, you did this to me forever. Like, he's going to live his life. He's going to move on. I need to take accountability for my part and say, okay, the reason why I even accepted a guy like Penwell is because this is how I think. This is how I've always viewed things. And I feel like moving forward, it will be best for me to start thinking differently. So that's the part that's that I love so much about accountability, because it will always enrich the one that is taking charge of their lives.
I think... outside now of trying to defend women, I think one of the reasons why so many young men, boys love you so much, and why so many women find offense in you is because we're dealing in a society where many women struggle with accountability.
For sure.
They are so used to being victims. And we live in a society where blaming men is the order of the day.
Of course.
How, outside of maybe making videos, which is pretty brilliant and I appreciate it, at least myself and most other men, how do we train young girls to take accountability for their lives and their actions and not blame poverty and not blame, yeah, well, everyone was doing it, yeah, well, whatever. How do we change that type of environment and culture, especially for young girls that are coming up now?
I always say in my videos that if you're going to do something, you're doing it to yourself. So I can say, okay, this guy, he cheated on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sleep with his friends. So that guy going to be affected by the fact that you're sleeping with his friends just to get back at him? He's not. You're the one that's going to be affected by the fact that now you're sleeping with other people. That's your body. That's something that you're doing to yourself. So I can't say, well, the reason why I'm living this life is because this man cheated on me. He never treated me well. So this is the result of that. I'm going to do this because, yeah, he did that. And I'm like, just like that. But this is you, though. You're the one facing the consequences. You're the one suffering. So if you think you're doing it to someone else, that's where you're getting it wrong. So I think them not taking accountability is them thinking that they're not doing it to themselves, they're doing it to men. So if I'm always online and I'm saying, yeah, men, we hate men. Oh, you guys are, what do they call these South African men? Oh, yeah, ugly, leprechauns, they call them whatever names. You think that that's doing something to men. Like they see your video and they scroll past. Like it's not that deep for them. You're the one that's sitting there with all that hate. You're the one that's sitting there with all that running away from yourself because you don't want to face yourself. You're constantly looking on the outside. So that's why I always try to tell them that if you're not going to listen to your mom, or you're gonna go with whatever society is saying that, it's not your fault, blame men, you must just know that you're doing it to yourself, no one else. So that's why I always took accountability, and I'm like, okay, some things, girl, you didn't make the right decision there. And whose life is that changing? Mine. Penuel is gone. He doesn't know me. He doesn't even care. He's moved on with his life. I'm the one that's remaining in the situation. So that's why I need to take accountability for myself, not for you. Yeah. So for a lot of women think that if they take accountability, that means the men are free. Like, men are free. They're not going to suffer. They're not going to... It's not in your hands to make them suffer. It's not in your hands to make sure men feel the pain of what they did to you or what you think they're doing in society. When you can only take the part where it's for you and what you can do for yourself. The rest,